Hello, this is Alejandro Bratti and William Eiley from Unlock Clarity, and welcome to the Spanglish Radio Network on Single TV, channel 250. Please remember to download both the Single TV app on the respective app stores on iOS and Android devices. Where you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. The app is free and is available in Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Roku, and all smart TVs. Today we want to first say Happy New Year to everyone that is listening to us. This is the first program of the year. And how are you, William?
I am doing well. Could be time for a nap. Otherwise, I'm doing well.
Well, I had to travel to this morning like 6 hours from the place that I was to get to Mexico City, but I am here and everything is okay. And I really wanted to start today these programs again. We had a couple of weeks of no program, and here we are again. So today we are going to be talking about a topic that is very interesting. I hope it can flow a lot with you. If anybody that is listening live, you have questions, or even if you are not listening live here, you can start to put some questions in the chat or in any place that we are, and we are more than happy to help you. So today the topic is directors. So tell me a little bit about that, William.
Oh, directed. Let's see. I guess we're going to have a pointed conversation about direction today. Wait. Anyway. Oh, being directed. So the question becomes, are we inner directed or outer directed? Are we letting other people choose our directions for us? Or are we listening to our internal compass, if you will?
Yeah, that's where everything starts.
Yeah, and I've been working through that. It's like I've been letting other people direct my steps for decades, and so it's been an interesting internal inventory process. So yeah. Oh, but I think a good contrast, at least for me, would be 4 months ago, we went to our bank and our banker decided to check into refinancing our loan for us to pay a few things off. Mind you, that was 4.5 months ago. And late last month, they finally finished the process. So my wife was, I don't know that she quite realizes it, but she was letting other people direct her behavior and her stress level. And she, hair falling out and being stressed out a lot about the situation. And I was fortunately in a space where I could stand back and watch the monkeys make a mess of the circus tent and not really have to react until it's like, okay, wait, we're 2.5 months into the process. I guess I better start asking questions. But that's what I did, was I asked questions. I didn't get upset. I didn't get stressed out. I guess that could be a good compare and contrast between inner and outer directed. And I personally never thought I would get to this point of being inner directed and being able to stay calm in these kinds of situations. This is huge.
And there is something that is very important with what we have been talking in the last weeks in that topic specifically, and I want to ask you on that area specifically, in the non-judgment, because being directed sometimes it's like, oh, I have to take decision and have to get angry and I have to, because that is the only way that people can listen to me, or like there is a lot of ideas that we have, and what you are bringing to the table right now is exactly the opposite. Like, okay, I started to ask questions, but I take out all the judgment in the area, and even the judgment with your wife and with the bank and with the people around you that were trying to direct the best way to have this loan working, you know.
I'm not sure anybody was, well, the loan officer was trying to direct a few things. We had three other institutions and people involved in the process, and she wasn't able to do anything for us really, other than make phone calls and find out status. And um, for me, directed, a lot of it comes back to, like you were saying, the non-judgment and asking how and what questions. Not an accusatory, but it's like, how, what's the next step? How do we go forward? You know, when will this be done? Who's the next person to talk to? Can I have their phone number? Those kinds of things. And yeah, the non-judgment is crucial to this whole process. Um, because if I can't stay calm, I'm not going to get anywhere. I'm sure you and the viewers have never experienced not getting anywhere by not staying calm. And maybe it's just me.
No, and it's I remember, and that's why for me this topic is very interesting because I remember all the time that I was like even in a corporation and trying to have things done. It was like I was thinking that I was being directed by getting angry and pushing everyone. And the problem is that you become like, even you have burnouts, you can have a lot of issues in your body, things that stop to work because of that. So what we are talking here is, yeah, you can continue be directed, but take out all the judgment that you put, like, because the reason I was angry is because I wanted people to do the things exactly my way, and I start to move like a lot of people, and we need everything for yesterday, and everybody has to move, and I have to be like pushing and pushing and pushing, and a case, something that happens a few weeks ago, you know, that I had this flu, that I was like, I have to fix this, but I don't know what is happening. And really for me, because I study and I learn and I practice a lot of self like health and how to be healthy, and now I teach that, and I help others to become healthier. So for me, being sick was like, with this flu, was like, okay, I can have it for 1 week and that's fine, that's normal, everybody has that sometimes, and some people don't, and it's okay. But I am going to stop judging. And then the second week, and then the third week, and I was like, okay, let's start to find out what is happening. And that this is another example of director that we want to share here today, because what I started to do was exactly like have conversation with William, with my wife, with other people, like, okay, what do you think has changed? Maybe the full, what are the things? And start to look for answers for why the 3 4 weeks are happening this, and what I can do with this, and how I can get out of this eternal flu that I don't like. Uh, so once again, I started to understand what was behind, and what were the emotions, and what were even things that maybe I was experiencing inside, and where were the triggers. That started to open the eyes for me to new things, and start to be directed to, okay, not only fix the side effect of a flu, but really something that was deeper inside of me, that I really needed to start to check and find out.
Yeah, exactly.
So, when we start to, so we are talking about this non-judgment that I believe that is the key of the program to today when we are talking about being directed. So how you can, or what is your experience on trying to be non-judgment for a long period, and what start to happen when you start to do that?
Magic. Literally, magic started to happen when I was able to do that for long periods. And it was a challenge to get there because being able to, as I mentioned earlier, being able to watch the monkeys dismantle the stands and the circus rings and start to get near the poles that keep the tent up and all that, just being able to stand back and watch and not get too stressed out. That took a lot of practice because I'm used to thinking that every thought I think is mine, and I'm discovering it's not. I'm discovering it could be somebody else's thought that I accepted or they planted
Mm,
days or decades ago. It doesn't really matter. And so just being able to get, because a lot of the directed part is learning to trust that I have the answers.
mm, mm.
That was very, very difficult to get to. I'm
Yeah.
still working through that process. And yeah, the magic. It's like being able to stay in non judgment while listening to, I'm just going to go there, listening to my guides, listening to Creator, and trusting that I know what to do. That, for me, that's as close to nirvana, however you want to say it, um, that I think at this point in my growth process, that's very close to nirvana, or what I would call it, is inner peace, inner knowing, inner
Mm,
direction, and not being in the place where I'm depending on other people for my approval.
mm.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
And
completely.
that is where a lot of my stress comes from and came from, is expecting other people to approve of me when I'm the one that's supposed to be doing that. And when I can do that, it's a little easier to get direction.
And when you were doing that, what was happening is you were giving your power to those people because you were expecting everything from them, and suddenly they have the power to say you are good or you are bad or you are worthless or you are very worthy, or everything starts to. So that's part of what you are saying, and the other part that I get, even with the example that I was saying, is clarity. Because one thing is, okay, I have a flu and I can think that that is okay, or an stomach ache, or any illness that I can have. But if you start to be like, I am not going to judge this, but I want to see what is happening, and you start to look for the clarity that comes from not judging everything, that yeah, it's because of me, or it's because my father, or my friend, or whatever, or the job, or anything. Suddenly you can start to have the clarity of, okay, this is the thing that is happening inside of me, and I have to take a new decision here.
A phrase we have over here that just came to mind is blame storming.
Mm,
Blame, uh, like you were saying, blaming everyone, even me. And decades ago, someone came with the concept of blame storm. And so if I can stay out of that storm, it makes it easier to stay calm and available for solutions.
mm.
Because if I'm not calm, I can't see solutions, right?
Yeah. So let's start to see some action steps that we want to give to for people here to start to understand how they can apply this and where where they can apply it. And really, we are not saying you have to be directed everywhere and in everything in your life. That would be awesome, of course, because it will be like what you are saying, like nirvana every area of your life. But starting the year and starting like, okay, and even if you're listening to this program in December or in any other time of the year, but starting to be like, okay, I am going to be directed in this goal that I have in my life, in this area that I have. So start to apply all the concepts that we are having. So step number one, we will recommend you to listen to the program Impartial. Why? Because we are talking a lot about the non-judgment part, how to be impartial and not judging yourself. So if you have any question in regards of, okay, that is good, Alejandro and William, I love it, but I don't know what to do or how to do it. That's that part of not judgment. I don't exactly know how to do it. I recommend you to listen to the program Impartial that we did a few weeks ago. It's available in the YouTube channel that we have and in almost all the social media. But you can find it like, in the YouTube channel, the Impartial, and you are going to love it. The second one, William.
Practice non-judgment with a difficulty, a challenge that you're going through right now. It's almost like an out-of-body experience where I'm just sitting back and watching everything happen and
And even
having
if you practice that for 5 minutes, or 30 minutes, and
or
it's
30
like, okay,
seconds.
start with something
Yeah,
like,
and just try to step outside of normal reactions and just watch. And a phrase that I love is, isn't that interesting? Hmm. Just starting with that one, it gets me out of the judgment space. Isn't that interesting?
yeah, that helps a lot. And the third step is take inspire action. So from the part that we are saying that you are not judging what is happening, and the clarity that you start to have,
Oh, yeah.
then you can take the action. And that's exactly what we want you to say, like, because sometimes it's like, yeah, I am directed because I am not judging and I am sitting here just waiting for something to happen, and it's not. We are saying, even in the example that William gave with the loan, okay, he started to ask question, and what is the next step? What is the next step? How I can help you? What is the person that I have to talk? Who I want to talk? How I can talk with them? In my case, I started to look for people to help me. Like, okay, how I can understand something that I am not seeing. I don't know if I am not seeing something. Help me to ask me the right questions that I don't want to ask myself. So that is part of being directed and start to do that. So listen to the program to understand more about the non-judgment. Second, practice non-judgment. and and really, if you are like, okay, I am judging all the time and I don't know how to do that, practice 5 minutes not judging something, and suddenly you are going to start to see like, let me see how everything is happening. For me, it's like trying to be outside of yourself and looking at yourself, how you are interacting and looking at everything. And suddenly everything will be changing. And third, take action. Not only stay like, okay, this is it and this is the way, but take inspired action and start to do something about it.
It's like being in um, a steam-filled room. We can't see where the doors are, but until I start walking toward a wall, I won't find the doors. So if we don't take action, we're exactly where we were.
Mm.
And so once we get closer to the walls and we can see things clearer, clarity, it's easier to take action as well. And we can,
Yes.
so yeah, just how and what questions, even of yourself. How am I feeling? What's my next step? Mhm. What do I need to see differently? Because it all comes down to having conversations with our unconscious.
And something that I was even learning a few minutes ago, and in a conversation that I was having with another person, was uh, understanding and learning are two different things. You can
Yes.
be understanding everything that we are saying here, and you can be like, ah, that's fine. But we don't want you to only understand, we want you to learn it. And the only way to learn it is practicing. So you have to start to practice, and sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work, but it's the same. Everything that you learn, you have to make a lot of mistakes at the beginning, and suddenly you are going to start to learn how to do it. So everything that we are talking in this program is about practice and how to implement it in your life. And that is what we want for you in this 2023, to become directed and start to make your dream happen in your life. So thank you, William, for today.
Because incidentally, next week's topic is persistent.
Yeah, and you are going to love it. So thank you, everyone, for being today with us. This show can also be heard on Spanish Radio Network. Please check out SpanishWorld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Bye bye.
Bye.